Hello, everyone. My name is Andre Grant, aka Coach Andre. In the light of the idea of self improvement, I want to let you know that I am in recovery from severe knuckleheadism. If you're not sure what that means, I'm prone to doing stupid stuff. Maybe you've done stupid stuff, maybe you haven't. I just wanted to clear the air and let you know who was talking to you. I'm a knucklehead and proud of it. One of the stupidest things I've ever done is give up on a dream before I accomplished it. Maybe you can relate to that as well. Maya Angelou says that most people, they only go so far and then they park. I think that one of the reasons people park is because of the negative things people say to us. How many of you here have been told you couldn't do something? Raise your hand. Now, research shows that it takes hearing a positive thought at least 7 times to cancel out one negative. How many of you have goals and aspirations you want to accomplish in your life? Raise your hand. Well, let me start the positive flow in your life. I want to tell you, I know you have greatness in you. How do I know? Because you wouldn't be here if you didn't. You have to have a reason to be in Toastmasters. It's not an accident because you will learn how to hone your message, become a real leader, and you will develop quality relationships. These things don't happen by accident, they happen on purpose. If you are here on purpose, not only do I know you have greatness in you, you are saying to yourself and to everyone else that you have more to give than you already have. And that is the greatness in you fighting to come out. We are here to learn how to let our greatness out. Are you ready? Les Brown would say it like this: get ready, get ready, get ready. Are you ready? Say it with me: get ready, get ready, get ready. All right, we're ready. It takes 7 thoughts, 7 positive thoughts to cancel out one negative. I saw many of you raise your hand when I asked how many of you have been told you couldn't do something. And I'm sure many of you can relate to parking because of it, right? Don't raise your hands, just blink your eyes and I'll know. I see you. I know too because it was beat into me daily and told to me multiple times a day that I was stupid and that I would never amount to anything. This was told to me from the age of 5 to 10, daily for 5 years in the most impressionable time of my life. Do you realize how many positives I needed to get where I am now? Because this same man fed me pot and liquor for several years of that time. I began to believe him to the point where when I was able to start believing there was a better life for me, I couldn't do it because I believed so deeply that I wouldn't amount to anything. I thought it was wrong for me to even try. How many of you here, after considering a goal, thought it was wrong to pursue because you weren't sure if you could do it or you were afraid you were going to mess it up? Raise your hand. Let me ask you another question. I know you have done some good things and accomplished some things that you're proud of. But if your life started over today and you had it to do all over again, how many of you know you could do so much more than you have up to this point in your life? Raise your hands. See, this proves a point that we all haven't reached the tip of the iceberg in regards to our potential and what we can accomplish. It's time to think about the more you can do now because you can do more. Now, in case some of you may not be there yet, I have something for you. You see, the result of that man feeding me pot and liquor at 8 years old took me down the dark path of drug use and alcoholism. I went so far down that even though I joined the military in hopes of getting away from the lifestyle, the drinking just got worse. In fact, it got so bad, I found myself facing a dishonorable discharge from the United States Navy. The only other choice I had was going to rehab. And during the process, I had a bit of an awakening, a vision, if you will. Being in the fullness of this vision, I found myself sitting in the back seat of a 68 Nova, the same car I used to get my first driver's license as a teenager. The car was making its way across the base while I was looking out the window. When I looked toward the front, I noticed there was no one in the driver's seat. As I leaned over, I saw a beer can sitting in the driver's seat of this car in control. And as I tried to climb over to gain control, the seatbelt pulled me back and tied me to the back seat. Now, how many of you know fear can paralyze you and keep you from working towards your goals and dreams? Even if you're able to get started, if you don't keep that fear tied up, you won't be able to get the best results possible. Make sure you beat that fear into submission, chain it up, and throw it into the dungeon. Get rid of that fear. Do you want to know where self improvement starts? I had to learn this because I didn't know I would live past 30 years old, and I lived my life that way. When I decided to change the possibilities, like the possibilities looked like a very dim light at the end of a very long and darker tunnel. The thought that I could die in the process, but only one thing came to mind. Was I scared because the idea of dying because I wanted something different? Absolutely. I was scared to death, pun intended. But I didn't care. Do you know why I didn't care? Ladies and gentlemen, because I was done with where I was in life. I was done with all the hurt and the pain. I was 21 years old and still believed that I would die at the age of 30. That meant I only had 9 years to live. But by God's grace, that was 32 years ago, and why I'm here talking to you today. Do you know that it's like, do you know what it's like to start down a path that is unfamiliar, where you can't see enough to guarantee a good outcome? And because of fear of messing it up or fear of losing too much in the process, let me tell you, self improvement starts. I took a leap because I was too uncomfortable with where my life was. Ladies and gentlemen, do you think that it's too difficult for you to overcome your fear when you think about working on your dreams is because you are comfortable with where your life is? If this is so for you, let me share this one last story with you and I will let you go. It's a story I heard from Les Brown. I haven't heard him say who it came from, so I can't tell you that. But if you know Les Brown, he only has life-changing stories. It was during the time he was fighting prostate cancer. His radiation levels were in the hundreds, and it was questionable if he was going to live through it or not. He shared how he meditated on this story he read. It's normal to see family flocking around a member's bed as he waits to pass on. But imagine for a moment you are on your deathbed And instead of your family standing around your bed, around you, it's the ghosts of your dreams and aspirations, stuff that you wanted to accomplish, but you didn't. And they were standing next to your bed with angry eyes staring at you. And if they could talk, they would say, no one heard your voice. They couldn't read that book because you didn't write it. You didn't make a difference because when we came to you, you pushed us away. You were the only one who could give us life. But now, because you didn't give us life, we now have to be buried in the grave with you. The question is, if you were to die today, what would you be taking to the grave with you? You see, if you don't do those things you know you are supposed to do, it's not just you that loses. We all suffer because of it. What will you do now?